How can you stand for the national anthem of a nation that preaches and propagates freedom and justice for all, that is so unjust to so many of the people living there? How can you willingly be blind to the truth of systemic racialized injustice?
Isn't it funny how Colin Kaepernick continues to be honoured worldwide, but yet is still called disrespectful here in the US? Last Saturday, at a ceremony in Amsterdam, human rights organisation Amnesty International bestowed its highest honour, the Ambassador of Conscience Award, on Colin Kaepernick. Cap is, according to them, an athlete who is now widely recognised for his activism because of his refusal to ignore or accept racial discrimination. Meanwhile, here in the US, we still have people like this.
These loudmouth celebrities and ex-football players can't stand it that after 8 years, we finally have a president that supports and respects the men and women in blue.
President Trump is lashing out at the FBI.
This is the same anti-cop rhetoric that puts our police officers in danger. Police are out to victimize half of this country.
Again, people around the world understanding and appreciating what Colin Kaepernick has done and is doing. Meanwhile, here at home, many still see his call for an end to police brutality as divisive and disrespectful. Because saying that this isn't okay is disrespectful, right?
What's going on, man?
But this isn't?
You may shut the fuck up and not tell me when I may take my kid.
Well, that's because no matter how many examples are presented of the crystal clear double standards governing how white and black people are treated by law enforcement in this country, many, mostly right-wing, Americans will continue to deflect and turn a blind eye to the reason Kaepernick knelt and instead remain fixated on how or what he's doing instead of why he's doing it. Because, as I've stated many times before, they know why he's doing it. Hell, anyone with a set of eyes knows why he took this stance, but they just don't want to understand it because that would mean turning the bright light on themselves. They would rather unknowingly be blind to the truth, as it would crack the fragile shell of fantasy they've constructed around themselves to describe a world where white Christians are the real oppressed minority, the only racism is reverse racism, and the best way to solve racial animus is to stop talking about it. Take Tilapia, for instance. She's upset at what Colin Kaepernick is saying here and not the reason why he's saying it.
The laws that allow them to kill us with virtual impunity. I have realized that our love, that sometimes manifests itself as black rage, is a beautiful form of defiance against the system that seeks to suppress our humanity.
Because that why would mean her turning her eyes away from Fox and Friends to take a look and see where a black man handcuffed compliant with officers is still knocked unconscious with his teeth shattered, while a white woman calling police officers stupid and telling them, "Don't fucking tell me what to do," walks back to her privileged little life without a hair touched on her head. I mean, let's just take a look at the time where a person of color said or did this and walked away scot-free. Oh, right, exactly. Because in this country, it is absurdly easy for people like Tanya and the other MAGA lovers to stand upon a soapbox and get angry at Kaepernick or John Legend or anyone who dares question the actions of law enforcement, because this issue will very rarely, if ever, affect them. And that's why they're now embracing Kanye, because they see a way to reinforce their prejudice with the token black friend argument that allows them to continue to discount the systemic racial injustice that Kaepernick continues to fight against. Right-wingers would rather engage in this vitriolic back and forth than face clear and unavoidable facts, like that in Sacramento, where incredibly detailed reporting by Sean King revealed that the DA has accepted more than $450,000 from law enforcement. That's nearly $500,000 from police, and then you take that number and you consider those donations in light of the fact that there have been 22 deaths at the hands of police in Sacramento, 0 convictions. And you start to realize why less than 8% of police officers are ever held accountable for these deaths. Because again, the same people who lambast Kaepernick as disrespectful don't want to know this, because it's easier to turn a blind eye and pretend there isn't an issue. And it takes an immense amount of bravery for someone with a high profile to step up to the plate, put his livelihood on the line and say, "This isn't right," which is exactly what Colin Kaepernick did. And across the world, millions of people see that. But yet here, in America, where countless Americans confront this issue every day, many would rather label him disrespectful than pay attention to the words behind the stance. The reason why. But one day, years from now, just remember this video when the very same conservatives are out here quoting Kaepernick as a means to diminish and disparage the person who's speaking out against injustice in the future, which is exactly what they do with Martin Luther King today to tear down Kaepernick. But just remember, as James Baldwin said, people are trapped in history, and history is trapped in them. So be on the right side of history. Follow me on Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell, and on Twitter also at Francis M. Maxwell. Like and share the video. Continue to resist.